Hello again. Episode something of Keto chapters, um, and the second of our conversations with people that we've met within our public group first, and then members group, and have a story that we want to sort of share. I think I said this towards the end of the last podcast that if you've got a story that you'd like to talk about your journey, then please get in touch. Message us at Keto Fitness Club. A team at Keto Fitness Club is the email. Um, .com. That's the one. Uh, now, no one knows who I've got with me today. We invited her up to have a little bit of time. Well, we're at the bakery today. We've popped across to Keto Bakery because I said, and this will give it away for anyone that's just listening to the podcast. This will give it away as to who it is. I said, "Do you fancy coming and doing some Marmite baking?" Quite obviously, the answer was yes. And she shot up this morning, and we've just spent a little time in the kitchen uh, making some really, really random creations. So yeah, if you haven't already guessed, Marmite Girl's here. Hello, Kerry.
Hello.
Now, Kerry's just gone into a blind panic because she realised that there are two cameras. She thought there was one just pointing at me and realised there's one pointing at her as well. So don't panic. You're
Too
okay.
late.
Yeah, too late now. And initially, thank you. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you for asking me.
I sort of messaged Kerry a week or so ago and said, "Do you fancy doing a chat and some baking?" And we were trying to work out when we could get together. And she's like, "Let's do it over. Let's get it done with as quick as possible. Let's just do it straight away." Because I think you might overthink things sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Okay.
little,
Okay.
a little.
I say we've had an hour of fun in the kitchen, sort of, and they're in the oven at the moment, so we have no idea what these things are going to taste like, and potentially during the podcast, we'll be taking a break at some point just to go and dig out what's in the oven. Um, right, let's start at where we met online, obviously, um, and it was because we've actually only met once before in person,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yeah.
At Ketovore earlier this year, and that was well, that was quite a busy day. Didn't
Very.
really didn't really get much time to chat, and I was desperate to. I was actually hoping we might be able to do some of this at Ketovore. I had no idea how that day would go, and it just transpired that we had no chance of sitting down with anyone, did we? It just impossible.
No.
Um, the day just flew by, so we didn't get a proper chance to sort of have a chat. So you landed in the public group about a year ago.
Yes. Last August, I believe.
Okay,
Landed is the word. Yeah.
landed, yeah. And were you Marmite Girl back then, or have you only in the last year become Marmite Girl?
No. I started all this pretty much with Marmite. I think the first one was Roti, but I don't think I used Marmite the first recipe, but it wasn't long.
Right. And have you always had this affliction with Marmite? I mean, affection for Marmite.
No, I actually disliked it, and then I
See,
started
these are the
using
questions
salt.
we've had sent in. Can you please ask Kerry why is she so obsessed with Marmite?
No, I think it was the salt actually. As I got further into my journey and I craved salt, it ticked the
Ah.
box.
Right. Okay. So I went for Bovril. You went for Marmite
Yeah,
because I would, and I don't do it as often nowadays. But when I first started my journey and I was doing lots of running, the only thing that would help me after the run was a hot Bovril.
yeah. For me, it's Marmite.
Right. Okay. Now I get it. Right. Okay. So you landed in the public group. You smeared it with Marmite. Um,
Got called mad.
got called. Actually, you keep reminding me. You got called mad by me.
Yes.
And as she sort of said, it's ironic what we've just done for the last hour in the kitchen. She's like, "Yeah, told you so. It works." Why did you end up in the public group? What was the purpose?
Diabetes.
Right.
And after doing low carb keto for 6 years now, I was really excited to find all the recipes because I tried so many over the years. wasted ingredients,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden there was a whole world of opportunity. So I get very excited still about the recipes.
So you say diabetes, long-term sufferer?
6 years since diagnosis.
Right. Okay. And were you aware what your diabetes was doing to you, or did what was the reason for the change then to obviously to a low carb lifestyle? You sort of diagnosed as a diabetic. What was said to you then?
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing is said to you, or well, nothing was said to me. I just realised pretty quickly that carbs reacted with my medication, so I
Right.
reduced it myself, and then that started my journey.
How did you feel when you started that then? So it started to change what you were eating because you were on medication, or you obviously the medication wasn't suiting you, as it were.
No, there's certain side effects to the medication that are well known in the
Right. Okay.
diabetes world, upset tummy, and you're sort of frightened to leave the house. So, and I figured out very quickly that it was carbs that actually affected that reaction for me. And then as my journey went, I realised through testing my bloods the reaction of carbs to my actual diabetes.
So going back, so it's before you were diagnosed, what was your lifestyle like?
Low fat. Years prior to that, it had been lots of carbs before going to the gym. That was when I actually started having problems, and then stopped going to the gym, carried on with my low fat lifestyle. Didn't understand why I never used to eat a lot, but I seemed to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then eventually went to the doctor and was diagnosed with diabetes. No high blood pressure, no other side effects, just the diabetes.
So did you think you were diabetic, or was it a shock that you got the diagnosis?
I knew something was wrong.
What were the
it's
signs for you?
The weight and tiredness, really. I didn't feel tired at the time because you get used to feeling
It's
that
how
way.
it must be normal.
Yeah. So, and sleepiness after having a nice meal, have a nice big meal before bed because it makes you nice and sleepy and soothes you to sleep. But I didn't realise that was actually a diabetes sleep. So, but no, once I turned that around, I didn't actually even understand the weight. I didn't realise that as soon as I changed to low carb, that the weight, I was never on a weight journey. I didn't understand that the weight was going to come off.
Okay, so you didn't start this because you were trying to lose weight. You were starting this
No,
because you
I
were
don't even know my start weight.
Right.
I didn't understand that the two actually
Yeah.
worked together. I was actually under the impression that it was sugar diabetes and I had to count my sugar.
right.
The only reason I touched the carbs was because of the side effects of the medication, because nobody explained it.
Is that common?
Very.
As in, so the side effects are people? Because obviously, I've never been diagnosed as a diabetic. I've never had one of those appointments.
My experience was a telephone call to tell me that I was diabetic, to go and pick up some medication, and that I could see the nurse in X amount of time, which actually turned out to be quite a while, and it's not uncommon.
So you've mentioned weight there, and we might as well sort of cover that now. So we sort of know what's happened to you. So over the last 6 years, you went low carb. What happened to your weight then?
I've lost a whole person.
You've lost the whole person, yeah.
I'm guesstimating the beginning, and I did get confused between pounds and converting to. So, how did we work it out? I know we did the maths earlier, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
exact.
so we reckon you started at about 280 pounds, so which is about 20 stone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely, it was more than 20
Right,
stone. I
okay,
know
so
that, yeah.
The 20 is 280 pounds,
Right.
and right now you're 163 pounds. So you've lost close to 120 pounds.
Yeah.
But in 6 years.
Yeah. Yes, I did do it in less time and then fell off during lockdown.
Right,
and
okay.
began again.
Joe, I didn't realise you'd fallen off at the beginning of lockdown then.
I
'Cause obviously that was before you joined us. Oh no.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it would
That
have been.
was
Yeah,
the
it would have been.
reason
Yeah.
why I
Yeah.
joined.
Yeah.
It wasn't even so much falling off. It was peanuts.
It was peanuts.
Peanuts, pure and simply.
Right.
Yep, peanut. A lot of peanuts.
Randomly, we had that conversation last night. Members group about
Yeah.
peanuts.
Moreish.
Yeah.
I would eat a family-sized bag, no problem, and go without rest of the food for the whole day.
Yeah.
I would just have that. That did me, but it was needing again salt.
So yeah, back to your back
Yep.
to your Marmite. Uh, so you started the journey. Did How long were you on medication for?
I honestly can't remember. It was.
Well,
so
was it
long
for a
ago.
while? I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I know some
Yeah.
people sort of literally start and a couple of months later they're off medication.
No, that it was actually done the reverse with me. I'd lowered my levels and they increased my medication. Not sure why, because my levels were fine, but they actually told me that they wanted to increase the medication for a while. And then you go back, they extend the duration between each of your appointments, and you have to have X amount of clear appointments before they will reduce each medication.
During the time that you changed your eating habits, and I presume you say you just went low carb to start with, you were sugar counting first.
Yes, sugar counted, but I was basically calculating everything I was eating per week and then trying to reduce it the following week.
In carbs or sugar?
Everything.
Right, in everything. Right, okay. And then during that process, did you tell the doctors, did you tell the diabetic nurse what you were doing?
When I eventually saw my diabetic nurse, I did tell her, and she was actually quite supportive, but moderation was also a conversation.
Okay, so moderate the carbs.
Yeah.
Or everything
the
in
size of a
moderation.
fist,
Right.
yes.
And at what point then during that journey did they decide the medication wasn't needed anymore?
It was actually a conversation I had with her for something else, but my HbA1c, I think it had been 38 a few times in succession, and I was told that as soon as I was comfortable, I could stop taking them.
Right, okay.
So she actually gave me the
Any
control.
idea where your HbA1c was to start with?
84.
Okay, we're going to quickly pause there because that's the oven with some Marmite treats ready. The Marmite creations are out the oven. They're just cooling down, so we'll go through those in a few minutes. Okay, so HbA1c started at over 80, down to 38, off medication. How did you feel at that time?
Great.
Yeah?
I'd lost, I think I'd pretty much done the majority of my journey, but I didn't know I was on a journey. I wasn't there to lose weight through diet. I didn't actually understand what was happening. I was low carb for diabetes, not weight. I never envisaged I would get to this weight.
So where you are now with your weight, again, I don't want to sort of focus on this because, but where you are now with your weight, what's different about what who you are, as in what you can do now?
I am more confident, believe it or not, even though I'm nervous in front of a camera, but that's a little bit different. I am more confident to try and do things. I would never have tried the kind of exercises that I do with you before, but I also didn't understand what my body could do because I wasn't used to this body because I'd had the other one for so long.
You've been carrying another one around with you.
It's learning everything that I can and can't. Well, not can't. There aren't many can'ts anymore.
Yeah.
That I can do.
When you talk about your journey now, you do focus a lot about the fitness side of it, the sort of stuff that you do now. I mean, initially, were you sort of cautious about doing the exercise? Were you scared about coming into the exercise, or?
Very scared.
Why?
And because for a lot of it, I couldn't do it. I spent more time giggling on the floor and doing everything wrong.
Okay.
But that was, I giggle and have fun and get up and try again, and I kept doing it. And I think there were posts all over the public group at one point where I was saying fell over again, ran into the wall again. Oops,
I think
again.
Wasn't your first session that you ran into the door or something?
Yeah, I think I fell over. Yeah. I think I fell over every single lesson for the first month or two.
And actually, that was a time when I used to sort of have everybody on the screen at the same time, so I could see everybody.
Everyone could see me.
Everyone
fall
could
over.
see you. Yeah. We just suddenly saw Kerry disappear to the. In fact, looking at the camera, Kerry disappeared off to the right. And she see, obviously, as I said, we've only met the once previously, but I've seen you hundreds and hundreds of times on Zoom, and I presumed, wrongly, that you were about 6 foot tall, because it's where Kerry positions her camera. She looks like a giant. She sort of puts it at an angle on the floor, and it casts upwards. And I was like, Kerry must. I didn't say this to her for ages because I didn't know you. It's like Kerry must be like 6 foot something. The gym or exercise wasn't new to you though, was it?
It was for a long time.
Right.
I'd done it in my youth. I did it 40s I'm trying to think. Yeah, in my 40s, and then stopped and I just got busier and bigger and didn't feel comfortable. Certainly didn't feel confident, and just sort of went into my shell. Really, that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, obviously, I think again when you first started doing the Zooms, you were definitely. I mean, you'd position yourself as far away from the camera as physically possible.
Yep.
You sort of say, is she actually in the
Lights
room?
off.
Oh, there she.
Yeah,
Yeah, lights off. That's sort of changed a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, now I'll answer back and be cheeky.
Yeah, actually, you're the only one that leaves their microphone open during the sessions now.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's relevant that everyone know that I was the one huffing and puffing for months through the exercise classes, thinking I was so unfit, and everyone else was muted, and nobody told me.
Yes. So within our sessions. Obviously, people can join in on Zoom, but everybody else turned their microphones off. Obviously, I can't. 'Cause I'm talking to people, and then we could always still hear one person grunting and groaning, and it was realised that Kerry was the one who hadn't turned the microphone off.
Nobody told me.
She messaged me, I am so embarrassed. I am mortified that for months people have been hearing me. I was like, yeah, sorry about that.
And no, tell the truth. You used to say, "Who's that?" And I used to stand there in front of everyone and say, "It's Kerry," and everybody knew.
It's funny. Now it's just a standing joke that Kerry's the one. When was the first time you joined in with the exercise sessions?
December.
Right, so December last year. So we're coming up to 12 months.
Yeah.
All right, fab. You've basically journaled your last 12 months, haven't you?
I have, yes, all the way through documented.
So measurements, and obviously I know. Do you track your bloods on a daily basis, or do you?
Not really, no, because I don't have to worry.
You don't need to anymore.
No, for what I eat, I don't really have to worry. It's only if I feel strange, stressed, or just occasionally out of curiosity.
We'll come back to that actually, because the stress does cause.
Oh yes.
Very random results, doesn't it?
Yes,
very random results. So, you've journaled sort of your measurements.
Yep.
What have you seen in the last 12 months since? Because obviously you've. I don't think you've changed anything in the way of weight, have you, in the last 12 months?
No, only 3 pounds,
Right.
which is negligible, really.
So there's no significant difference there. Your eating habits haven't really changed in the last 12 months.
No.
So the one thing that you've introduced is doing a variety of exercise as well. So we don't just do one thing. So you join in with HIIT.
No, I do every class.
The low impact, dumbbells, resistance bands, kettlebells, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So what's happened in the last year then since you've been doing that?
I've actually lost 16 inches with only 3 pounds loss in weight.
Wow.
So I've toned muscle, definitely muscle.
Yeah.
That was gone.
We can see that with one of your pictures you posted of you sharing your guns. And we were talking about you this morning with our PT.
Oh.
I showed him your pictures. I said we were sort of having a chat with you today, and I was like, look at her, look before and afters. And again, when you see one of the pictures you've taken recently, I think it is in workout gear, the black workout gear. It's like, wow, that's impressive. So 16 inches.
Yes. And I actually did the journey twice, so I've got all the information from last time when I did it without exercise.
Right.
And there's a significant difference between the two.
In what way?
Well, I only measured the torso last time, but I'm actually 5 inches smaller on my torso this time, and that's 5 pounds heavier as well. So the weight against the measurements don't equate.
Okay. So bearing in mind where you've come from with the weight journey, how does that feel, thinking that you're heavier, you're not at your lightest?
I had trouble getting my head around
Yeah.
that. At the beginning, I kept thinking that I had to achieve the weight that I did last time, but I also was confusing myself because I kept saying this is definitely my happy place. This is different. This
Yeah.
one is definitely. So I was already happy. I was just chasing something that I thought because it had happened in the past was necessary, and it's not.
And it's also our recession over the lighter we are, the healthier we are.
Yes, yes. I've got to get to
And
that
yeah,
target. I was never going to get within the healthy BMI range. That's way out.
and we've got a question: what's healthy about being unhealthily?
I would be unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm over the BMI healthy range, apparent healthy range, which and I find it mind blowing that my weight could be to be considered healthy. I could get down as low as about 8.5 stone, and I'm thinking I'd have no muscle left.
No.
This is the problem, isn't it? We obsess about the weight.
Yes, I did at the end. I didn't through the journey. I was quite happy making it about bloods. It was as I got near to the end that I started to look more to the weight. Not sure why, but that was where I started to go. So and then I just stopped weighing.
So what has been the mindset shift there?
I think because
why are
I'd
you
done it
happy
before.
now, 5 pounds heavier than you were? I know the size has got something to do with it, but why are you happier now?
The measurements, definitely for one, and I just feel better now. When I did it last time, I didn't understand keto. I didn't understand what I was doing. I was whizzing off into all sorts of ketosis and well, I don't know. I used to call it the whoosh when I first met you. I'm on the whoosh.
I remember one of our very very early messages, and you were talking about what you were eating, and I was like, yeah, that's keto. And she went, what? I said, you're eating keto. Am I really? Yes, you are. You're no longer low carb. You have slipped all the way through low carb. Because you were certainly not over 20 grams, and actually, I think this may have been the transition towards your slightly more carnivore, ketovore lifestyle, which you are, aren't you now?
Yeah,
Really,
I am.
I was like, you're keto, and oh my god, I didn't realise. I was like, but you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to give it a brand. You don't need to give it a name. You don't need to, if you enjoy eating that way, then great, that's fine. So. With your food now, obviously your journey for food has obviously dramatically changed from where you were, let's say 6-7 years ago, to where you are now.
Yes.
How would the old you think about? Yeah, no, exactly. How?
Put it this way: I was a year in, joined a diabetic group, and the first thing someone suggested was, I believe it was cauliflower pizza. And I was just absolutely disgusted and walked away. I thought, yeah, is this life? Is this how it's going to be?
I know it's not UK, but I saw an advert yesterday. It's an American product, and it's for pasta, and it says cauliflower pasta. Yeah. Now, cauliflower can be many things, but it can't be pasta, and it's not actually cauliflower pasta.
It's like when they
Yeah.
do the spinach pasta.
Yeah.
And it's just green pasta with 1%.
It's got a tiny percentage of, and somebody posted, this is still 50 grams of carbs.
Wow.
It's not cauliflower pasta, but obviously it's got written right across it, cauliflower pasta. Yeah. So cauliflower pizza. Do you know what? We've tried the cauliflower pizza base. We tried it once. Yeah.
Rather not.
Yeah. I'd rather not.
I actually liked it a couple of years further in, but at the beginning I couldn't have done it then. I actually went with pizza instead. That was my go-to back then. The cauliflower broccoli pizza, I used to mix them together and have the green one. I don't know why, but it was a thing.
Yeah, we've done that.
And then I sort of moved past the vegetables.
Like I say, so would you have ever thought you would get to the point where you are now with your food, where
No.
because it is still a concern, isn't it? So you talk to a lot of people who are coming into a lower carb lifestyle because of diabetes.
Yes.
And obviously the advice that they generally get is eat lots of carbs. Or eat plentiful of carbs.
Carbs are important.
Carbs are important. And then you're saying, well, not saying, you're showing that you survive quite happily without carbs. And actually, if you eat any any volume of carbs, it sort of tends to not agree with you, doesn't it?
Yes, I do get a very strong reaction.
But that's all. Again, when you sort of said it earlier about sort of having that sleep after a meal, or feeling tired, we've put that down. That's just normal. I eat, I get tired. That's not normal.
No.
That's not normal.
But I thought it was.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's where the comfort comes from. You have the food, you feel nice and sleepy, you associate it with the comfort eating. That was for me anyway.
So, again, the part of the mindset issue, a mindset thing. If you think back where you were 6-7 years ago, would you ever thought you'd get to where you are now, where you're not including really any vegetables at all? You are pretty much carnivore most days. You haven't eaten today yet, have you? So
No.
you fast on a regular basis.
Yes.
I mean, I've had a tiny slither of cheese while we were making Marmite cheesy things. It's just part of that whole journey, isn't it? That you sort of like you move so far away from where you were, the way you used to eat.
There's nothing in how I eat and what I do now that resembles back then. The bread. I would eat a whole. I better not say the name of one of the takeaway pizza chains, but eating a whole large pizza didn't faze me. I could do that. I lived on carbs and low fat.
And this is the thing, it's the time you've given yourself. I mean, you're still learning, aren't you?
Yes.
I mean,
always learning.
all right. And for now, it's more about understanding how food affects your diabetes. And as much as you're no longer on medication, are you still a diabetic?
I will always be a diabetic.
Yeah.
Always. If I get stressed, if I eat the wrong food, if I'm ill, I still react exactly the same as I did at the beginning of my journey. Nothing has changed. I am still a diabetic.
And this is why I wanted to talk to you about this, because this isn't, being a diabetic isn't something that you have to suffer with. I mean, because that's the advice basically given from doctors mostly, is to just take the medication, and there's your lifestyle. Eat the carbs, take the medication. Eat the carbs, take the medication. You've changed yours, but you're still a diabetic, and you know that if you go back to eating the other stuff, the stuff you were eating, you'll get the symptoms back.
Yes. And a lot worse, I would suspect, now after all this time. Well, diabetic, for want of a better word.
And again, we sort of spoke about, a lot of people will come to try and look at this lifestyle, low carb keto, as a weight loss tool, and actually, it's a lifestyle. It's a life-changing way of eating, or way of life, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because was it ever explained to you when you actually got to see your medical team what the medication would do to you on a long-term basis?
No, it was just explained that actually it wasn't explained. All that was explained was the side effects. That was the only thing that was ever covered for me.
Right.
And that was actually by the pharmacist before he would prescribe them. I was taken into a room and explained what the side effects would be, because they can be quite severe.
These are the short-term side effects?
No, they weren't short-term either, and they're not short-term for a lot of people.
Right, so what were they saying were the side effects to it then?
Upset tummy is the main one.
Right, okay.
Quite severe upset tummy. And for me, it was, if I ate carbs, extreme cramps with the upset tummy.
Right.
And it was the cramps more than the upset tummy that bothered me, which was why I reduced the carbs in the first place.
So you now are admin of a diabetic group. Is it? Do you mostly deal with type 2 diabetics, or do you have any type 1s in the group?
No, type 2s.
Right. Okay.
There are a couple of type 1s, but it's predominantly type 2.
Why? Why are you involved in the group?
Because because I love it and I love the group and I love talking to people, and I've done the journey and I've done it with all my friends, and we're all diabetic and we've learnt together on the road, and we just, especially during COVID, lots of people diagnosed, no help, absolutely terrified, frightened, join the group, and we all understand, we've been there, and we just all help each other.
When people come to your group, and again, we find the same when people come to find the public group, there's a lot of confusion, isn't there? There's a lot of
Overwhelmed, scared, frightened to eat. That is
Right,
the
okay,
main one.
okay.
Frightened to eat. Don't know what to eat. Haven't
Yeah.
got a clue. Just told you're diabetic, take the tablets. If they're lucky. There are other dietary advice that I get that is no help either. Not me, obviously, personally, but that I hear of.
Yeah.
If they see someone. I've got people in our group that are over a year since diagnosis and still haven't seen anyone.
And obviously, what you're doing within your group is sharing experiences.
Yes. Sharing experiences, lessons learned, food, and just helping and supporting each other.
Yeah. And you've seen quite a large increase in numbers, haven't you?
Yes.
How are you coping with that?
Okay. Well, I eat a lot of Marmite.
We're not on Marmite yet. You can.
Get in there. No, I love it. I do love it. I've got so many friends there now. We have a giggle. It's good. It is good.
And obviously, as we've seen with our group as well, you've got quite a few success stories in there as well, haven't you?
Yes. Oh, yes. They're all posted up.
Yeah. Actually, you seem to need to sort of tease some of your guys out to sort of like come and share your stories. I saw one of your posts recently. Come on, let's have a little roll call.
Unfortunately, same with me. You've been hiding for so long. You need that encouragement. Especially the groups. I was on a lot of groups for a long time. Didn't really step forwards. Wasn't very confident. You always sort of arrive and check the group out, get a feel for it. So I kind of like to do we're here. Come and chat. We're all friends.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it, when you sort of join any group, where a conversation might be going on between people that have been in there for a substantial amount of time, and you're thinking, well, I just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
And I know from experience from watching what goes on in your group, you don't take it lightly, do you? When someone starts to sort of boss people around, you can't have that, and you can't have that. You go,
no, it's all choice.
Yeah,
it's their body.
Yeah,
they've already been limited by diabetes. They get to choose what they want to do.
It's a journey, isn't it? You sort of said you have to go through this journey yourself.
Yeah, it's no if you suddenly decide that's it, I'm not eating, I'm not doing, and going so hard, you're going to fall off, and you just go round in circles.
Where's the benefit? Yeah, you keep going back to the starting point rather than. I mean, you say, where you are now is such a different place to where you were 6 years ago. Whereas if you'd have tried to get to where you are now within the first week,
wouldn't have worked.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't have worked. In fact, I would have just thrown it all away, taken that medication, and not bothered.
Yeah.
I would rather do that than live like this.
The benefit of actually taking it a little bit easier and a little bit day at a time.
Yeah.
Again, the not focusing on, well, if I just lose a stone this month or half a stone this month, focusing on what can I change today that will help me for effectively the rest of the month, the rest of the year, the rest of my life. So can I?
Sustainable is the word that I like to use.
Yeah.
Just do it what fits in with my life. What fitted in with me at the beginning, what fitted me in with the next stage and the next day. Each one had to work for me. It was no good me waking up one day and saying I'm not going to do that.
It's putting pieces of the jigsaw in it. A day at a time, isn't it?
Yes.
Just like, again, I always equate everything back to sort of like, going to run a marathon. I've run a marathon before, but I can't go and run a marathon today. I need to put the steps in place to achieve that thing at the end. So I will, day 1, I'll need to run 5 miles. And then, day 20, I'll be running 8 miles, and then day 40 I'll be running 10 miles. It's little bits at a time. And if I once I sort of got into the rhythm of it, then I know I can do the whole thing in one go. If you don't get into the rhythm of this lifestyle and you just try and literally launch yourself into the middle of a 20 grams of carbs, 16/8 fast, and all that, without the experience of understanding, even 20 grams of carbs might be too many for you. 20 grams of carbs.
It is too much for me.
But you didn't know that until you started to
No.
play around with it.
No, and even then, with diabetes, there's no direct. It changes. That's why I always say I'm still learning. My body still reacts differently now to how it did at the beginning. Things change as you progress. Diabetes does what it wants, and you have to learn to go along with it.
Yeah. All right. Serious topic. Marmite ice cream.
Brilliant.
What on earth? What on earth? This, I mean, I appreciate we're not in the right weather right now, but Kerry said to me about an hour ago, "You've really got to try that Marmite ice cream." No, I don't have to try Marmite ice cream. Honestly. What possessed
You will.
What possessed you to mix Marmite and ice cream together?
Being tagged in Marmite ice cream posts mainly, and I believe a couple of the members of the public group who like to cause mischief and get me to try different recipes.
I think you cause most mischief.
Yeah, well, no, I'm easily led.
So, why is Marmite? Literally, why have you been classed now as Marmite girl? I mean, you know, it seems that everything that is cooked has to have Marmite drizzled, smeared, or dipped.
Yep. I actually like to do it on the diabetes group. We tweak lots of recipes. We find what suits us, what's missing, what we want, and find a replacement. I use Marmite. They can use whatever flavour they like, and it works.
Have you got any plans to bring a Marmite cookbook out?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Kerry Marmite's everything. That's what it needs to be called.
Cheesecake.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Right. So I think for me, I just want to say thanks for everything that you do within all the groups. I mean, you know, ours, yours. I know that every time you talk about diabetes, you are very passionate about getting people to think that they can be in control.
Definitely.
Don't. Yeah.
And make it fun. Make it fun. It's the one.
It's not
thing
the
I
end of
always
it's not
say.
the end of the world. You say a
No.
lot of people come into your group, especially, and they're scared. They're scared of not knowing what to eat, of not how they're going to survive, and
they feel alone. And by coming into the group, they feel part of a family. We build each other up. We look after each other. We look after our own. And then we share the foods. We have fun.
Yeah.
And we support each other.
It's amazing what you've done in there in the last year, to see the sort of like the community grow. It's amazing to see some of the stories that come out. People again getting their HbA1cs checked since lockdown's sort of relaxed, and we can now get to sort of they've made a change within that year without being able to see anybody, and now they're coming back with. I mean, Peter did it within our group recently, so wafting a letter around HbA1c down to, I think it was 42 or something. It's nice to see people succeed and achieve, and they've done it, and the first person they thank is you in their post. Just, you can see it constantly, without your support, without your just that confidence. I talk about the confidence. People need to be confident to live this lifestyle. That's why we talk about it a lot. That's why we show people what we do, show people what we eat, show people what we working out. You can be confident that you can actually live this lifestyle. And I think that's where people come into it, and they're really scared because they're just not sure how they're going to do it. Well, it's no different to how you do it. It's no different how I do it. Make the best choices on the day. Don't beat yourself up when something goes wrong.
Definitely.
Yeah, because
And it will
Yeah,
until
of
you
course it
get
does.
into the routine, find your place, and then you find your place, and something changes, and you tweak, and you begin again.
Yeah.
Nothing is permanent. Just find what suits you.
Yeah,
That's how I do it.
and the no judgment.
Yeah.
Again, within your group, we talked about it. We see people sort of, they'll have something on their plate, which invariably in another group, maybe another diabetic group or another keto group, they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be sort of treated in the way that we expect people to be treated. I know it's the same with your group. You want people to be treated with respect. You want people to sort of be able to ask questions. If they can't ask the question, how the hell are they going to learn?
And it's still probably a better choice than what they were making before.
Yeah.
Just because it's not my choice.
Yeah.
I don't
And they're
know
still
where
right at the
they
beginning of their
began.
journey.
Yeah, I don't know where they began.
Yeah.
They've already made an improvement and they've shared their food, and it's up for discussion if they did want to discuss it, but without being held in contempt for sharing that food.
Well, I think you're doing an absolutely amazing job with that group. I know it keeps you really busy, and we have spoke about making sure that you look after yourself. We're the same. We're the same. You know how busy we are, and we know how busy the groups are, and we have to take time out every now and then. We've thankfully, and I think the same for you. You got a team that you're working with as well that manage
got
the group.
fantastic admin, fantastic friends
Yeah.
on there as well. All the members all join in. They all help each other. They all support each other.
Yeah.
It is a family.
Yeah. So it's amazing that the changes that again you get it and we get it, that people sort of, they might not communicate with you for 6-12 months and then suddenly drop in and go, this is what I've done. And
Yeah.
it's quite a nice warm feeling, isn't it?
It is. We get lots of
Yeah.
those who just pop out of nowhere several months down the line, and they've got fantastic achievements, and they've actually watched the group when we weren't aware that they were there, and then they just step forward and say that they've done it, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Right, so tell us the name, and I know you've written it down because you keep forgetting it.
I'm nervous. No one believes me.
So your group, which is predominantly for type 2 diabetics.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
and again, any level. So they've just been diagnosed, or they've been diabetic for many years, anywhere.
Anyone that wants to share food, recipes, inspirations.
Yeah. Okay. So go on and give us the name of your group.
It's Type 2 Diabetes, Meal Ideas and Inspirations UK.
Okay, and we will put a link to that in the podcast and in the video at least. Yeah. It'll go in the description. There you go. So the link will go into there. If you go and join the group, or if you're listening to this and you want some help on understanding type 2 diabetes, then go and join it and go and say hello to Kerry and the rest of the team. Obviously, you can also come and join Keto Fitness Club public group as well. Kerry's in there. She's in there regularly. She's in there sharing. Here's how it goes. I do an insanity set. She messages me some abuse and says, right, I'm going to spam the public group with Marmite. That kicks off conversations about Marmite. It destroys every other thread that I've got going. And she goes, no.
Yeah.
That's
You made me do
you made me do
insanity.
it. So talking of Marmite, we're going to quickly go away and get these snacks, and then we'll come back for a very quick sort of wrap up. Yeah. For those that are watching the YouTube of this, I have a tray on my knee full of mega Marmite mixes. A mega Marmite stuff. This is what me and Carrie were doing this morning in the bakery. She said, right, okay, so none of this has gone out for sale. No, this is just for us. Right, okay. Let's mix Marmite and chocolate together. It's like, how does your brain work? What on earth do you mean Marmite and chocolate? So actually we started with something pretty straightforward. I'm holding us up to the camera. We've got a mega sausage roll. So it is quite a jumbo sausage roll as well. We just did it as a long one. But obviously it was brushed with Marmite on the inside and a little bit of cheese. We then made this was just cheese. Oh yes, we made a couple of rolls and we brushed it with Marmite and added some cheese. So that was quite interesting. I've done them before and that's quite nice. Then we went on to a little bit more specialist, and we've got a couple of Marmite chocolate swirls, and then I made a mega roll, but I filled it in the centre with Marmite and chocolate. Right, and that looks. I mean, I'm just going to hold it up to the camera again. It's got a Marmite chocolate centre. Now I am going to have to try this. Hang on a minute, I've got to put the microphone down. Okay, I'm trying this because I've never had Marmite and chocolate together. Actually, it needs more chocolate. But it's not unpleasant. It's strange because you want to be able to taste sweet, but you can't. You can taste salt.
Yeah, but it works. You have.
It does. It does. Yeah. No, it does work. All right, I won't eat more while we're on. That's really nice. You've got snacks to take home with you.
Good.
Grab your mic
I forgot.
because otherwise they won't be able to hear you.
Okay.
There you go. Right. Again, thanks for coming up today.
Thank
Really
you for
appreciate
inviting me.
sort of you coming up. It was fun getting some time to spend some time with you. I apologise for the dogs this morning.
Oh, it was lovely. I loved it.
Kerry got literally abused by both dogs. Coco must have gone in for about 1 million kisses. So while Kerry was trying to calm Argy down, because there's a great big loon, Coco took advantage of the fact that Kerry was bending down and launched herself straight at her face. Thanks for everything that you do, members, public, your group, all the support, and just giving people the confidence that they can change their lives. You know, being diagnosed as a diabetic isn't a lifelong affliction. It's something that you can
No.
it's something that you can deal with.
Live with,
Yeah.
and it's changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
It has. Who I was before and who I am now, two completely different people. Physically,
That's interesting,
emotionally,
isn't it? That you
mentally,
say the
all of it.
diagnosis is actually
me,
changed
yeah.
you for the better.
Yes.
Obviously, I have not as similar as in the health, but I have a similar story. And then what happened to us, by losing Lindsay, it's made me a better person because I had to change. I was going down the oh, I got mega stuck in my throat.
That's why I said no.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going down the wrong avenues. I was drinking. I was eating crap. I would have been absolutely pre-diabetic. I would have had fatty liver, absolutely. And I had to change. And, it's hard to sort of think about something like that being the catalyst to improve your own life. Your diagnosis has actually changed your life.
Changed my life.
And not only improve your life, improve your quality of life, improve the length of...
All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of it. I don't even know what to say. It's led me on a different path. It's found amazing foods, amazing friends. What I ate before, all right, lots of carbs, but I also said no to a lot of foods that I thought were bad for me that I now eat and absolutely enjoy, and I think that comes across when I do my food posts.
It does. And again, because you share it with fun, you share it with a bit of, well, not just a bit, a lot of humour and a lot of sarcasm.
Yeah.
But because you do that, it makes you approachable to people. It makes the lifestyle approachable. Because you go, you can have that, right? Brilliant. I can make this, whatever it is. You just make it interesting. As you say, fun, which is
I think it's important. If you don't enjoy the journey,
you're certainly not going to stick with it.
You're not going to
you?
stick.
No.
So, and I enjoy the journey. I love the lifestyle. I do say that over and over. I love it. Absolutely love it.
All right, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And you both.
Yeah. And again, thanks for coming up today. I know that this isn't your.
This is way out of my comfort zone.
I know. But it was important to sort of, what I felt was important to sort of show people and share with people your full journey rather than just thinking, oh, there's somebody that's lost 9 stone. The why. Why have you done it? Why are you carrying on doing it? Why are you now helping other people? That's what's important to me. And I love the fact that you are an inspiration to a lot of people, and you will only find out long after the fact that somebody's changed their life, and they'll come up to you at some point and go, "It's because of you. It's because of you I'm different." And that you're going to get that a lot in the next couple of years. Yeah, get used to it. Yeah, get used to it. Yeah, Ketovore next year. You get. In fact,
there better be a T-shirt.
there'll be
had a T-shirt.
there'll be a slot on stage. No. Oh yes,
No.
you just heard it here first, folks. Ketovore 2022. Kerry will be doing something on stage.
Cooking with Sue.
Is that what you want? Okay, that's
Me
fine.
and Sue.
Right, that's done. So Marmite something.
Oh.
Marmite ninjas. Right. Okay. There you go. If there wasn't already a good reason to come to Ketovore 2022, you've just got it.
Tickets on sale when this podcast is out.
Yeah. Kerry on stage cooking with Marmite. She's gonna hate me now. Actually, we can go from doing a hit session. You can go straight onto stage. There you go. Because we're gonna have a fitness dance tent.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna exercise in front of people and then
Yes.
cook.
Yeah. You're gonna exercise in front of people and then cook.
And I'm going why?
Because it's fun, Kerry. Because it's fun.
Because I'm mad.
We're
back to where we started.
Yeah, exactly. You know that we start every fitness session with "This will be fun." I don't care what you lot think. This will be fun. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you all soon, folks. You'll be able to catch the video on YouTube if you're not, if you're listening to this on the podcast. So if you want to come and find us, then come and find Keto Fitness Club on Facebook, or you can go and find our website, ketofitnessclub.com, where you're going to find loads of recipes, loads of help, recipes, tutorials, couldn't even say the word again, and hopefully some support and any sort of advice that you need. So feel free, come and join us, and we'll see you soon.